Hello and welcome to the Clever Fox YouTube channel. My name is Ilysse and today we are diving into one of my favorite planning topics, and that is budgeting. I have my Clever Fox bill organizer and budget planner here, and today we are going to be using this planner to set up my budget for the month of June. This way, when my first paycheck hits in June, I am prepared for my bills, my financial goals, and the savings that I want to accomplish. Make sure that you watch this whole video so you don't miss any of the planning tips and tricks that I'm sharing today. Pull out your budget planner and join me. Let's dive in. Now, if you are watching this video and you haven't yet set up your June budget, I invite you to join me. Pull out your budget planner, or in this case, a bill organizer, and let's get to work together. So I'm going to start by putting June 2025, and then we'll go ahead and get this dated. Sometimes with a coil planner, it's easier to actually fold it over to give yourself a better angle when you're writing in these numbers. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This way I don't feel like I'm trying to go over the coil, I'm using it to guide me. Now, the other thing that I should mention is I like to start with the calendar instead of this top part up here, because I feel like it just kind of gives me a better view. I want to sort of have the overall glance and view of everything before I'm jumping into the goals and all of that. Okay, now I can come in with my stickers because we love stickers around here. So these little corner stickers are great for my paydays. June is a month that excites me because I will have 5 paydays in June. Probably 4 times a year. I think 4 times a year. I get 5 paydays in the month. And typically what I do is I budget with 4 of the paychecks, and I put the entire final paycheck into savings as long as I am aligned with my budget. So that will be my plan for June as well. So now we have the paydays in. Now, I don't want to take up too much space with stickers to put my bills down. So I think I'm actually just going to use a highlighter, and I think that yellow would be really pretty. So I'm going to add in a little highlight line for my bills. So we're going to write mortgage. You could also put these down without highlighting them, and then you could highlight them once they've been paid. That's definitely another option. I like to do it this way so that they're really visible for me. And then I can just check them off or even cross them off if you're okay with crossing things off in your planner once they've been paid. So we'll do one line at a time. So I have my Peloton, and then I have my Amazon credit card. Then we're going to jump in over here. Now, another thing, here's actually an idea for you. If you are trying to note what's on auto pay versus what has to be manually paid, you could use a different color. So over here, we could do a little key because we have this space down here. I personally don't put a ton on auto pay because I like to have complete control over what's going in and out and when. And a really good example of that was in May. I'm typically paid on Mondays, but because Memorial Day was a Monday, I was paid the Friday before. And I really just wanted to go in and manually pay as many bills as I could before that. So I wasn't always paying them on the exact same day in May, but it made sense for me. So we're just gonna do this kind of swap with highlighter. I'm a big fan of color coding. So we have Geico, and then I have my internet, my electric, my phone is auto pay, and then I have a credit card. Okay, next up, let's go back to some manual payments. And on the 30th, I have my dental insurance. And then I'm actually gonna pull out one more color because I've got a big one in June. This is a manual payment, but I'm going to highlight it because it's a really important payment. And this is my quarterly taxes. So now I have my bills set in here, and I feel good because I'm able to see everything in a really nice visual way. Now we have goals. Let's talk about some goals for the month. So one of the goals I've been talking about all year long is that I was really excited because I wanted to reach a year of bills saved. I've now reached that year of bills saved. So now we're going to add in an additional month of bills. It's not going to happen in June because it's not going to happen entirely in June because a month of my bills is around $5,000. And I'm not going to be able to just save $1,000 in June, but I would like to see if I can get 25% of the way there. And then my idea is if I can get 25% of the way there, every 4 months, I'll be able to have an additional month of bills saved. However, because I have that extra payday in June, I may be able to make a bigger dent in that. Then I also want to write save $500 for July trip because I have a trip planned with friends in July that I want to save for. And then I also would like to eliminate my electric bills equal payment plan. So an equal payment plan, what happens with my electric company anyway, is that they take your year of usage and divide it up by 12 months so that based on the last year, it will bill me monthly. However, because the last year I had a lot more usage with my boyfriend being here and his electric car charging and all of that, I ended up having an overage bill of over $1,000 that I owed in May, and I don't like owing $1,000 unexpectedly. So I'd really like to just eliminate that and now just pay whatever the bill is each month. Sometimes it'll be higher, like in the summer and winter, and other times it'll be lower, and overall it'll even out, but I'd rather pay the full amount each month rather than split this up. Then we have the checklist. So for the checklist here, I'm going to be checking off things that are going to require my financial energy. Like it's not a checklist like take out the garbage or, clean off my desk. It's things that are going to be financial. So one of them is going to be pay photography deposit. I'm also going to write the taxes, pay quarterly taxes. I'm going to probably have an escrow balance through my mortgage company. And then I'm going to write decide, this isn't necessarily a payment yet, on pool pass. My town has an awesome pool, community pool, but you have to buy a summer membership. You can't just go when you want to go. And because we don't know how often we'll be up here or down the shore this summer, not entirely sure if we're going to do it or not. But then we need to also buy beach badge. So in New Jersey and in a lot of states in the Northeast, you can't, the beach isn't free. I feel like I didn't know that beaches weren't free until recently, but in New Jersey, you have to buy a beach badge. So the cost of that is $65 a person for the summer. But when you get a seasonal pass, you get a discount because otherwise it's maybe like $12 to $15 for the day. And then we're going to leave one open because my biggest tip about planning, especially budget planning, is to give yourself a little bit of room for whatever is going to come next. Then for income, I'm going to write my 2 sources of income here, and then I'll track them throughout the month. And then we have savings. So my months of bills savings, we're going to call my emergency fund. Then we have my retirement. I do not have a 401k at my job, so my retirement is entirely on me. We have July vacation, and I think that's all that I'm going to be contributing towards that. So July vacation, my goal is $500. I'm going to put a little box here because then I can check it off once I've completed it. I'm also going to set a goal of $700 for retirement. And then my goal for my additional month of savings, I think I have a calculator here. Let's see. $5,000 about times 25% is going to be $1,250. So that actually should work out because that's what the additional paycheck here will be. So I should be able to do that. All I have to do is make sure that with the additional 4 paychecks, I'm setting aside $1,200. So that would be $300 per paycheck. So I think that we can manage it. I'm also going to do something a little bit different today than I have in previous budget videos. So I own my home. My boyfriend moved in with me in February. We've been splitting the bills since then, but I haven't done that in my budget planner. That's something that we're going to do today. So first up, I'm going to take my mortgage and split it in 2, and we're going to write mortgage here, and let's do 1680.98 $228. Then we have my homeowners association. That will be $225. My electric bill, I will guess it'll be maybe around $300. So we'll split that in half as well. And then I'm going to just write miscellaneous. Miscellaneous around the house is different things like I'm going to do 50 with the idea that that's being split in half. Things like buying paper towels or toilet paper, cleaning supplies or laundry detergent, like all of those other kinds of things around the house. So now we have those right in there. I also have my Optimum, my internet, and that is 70. So that will be 35 each. I also have, well, I'm trying to think of just what's categorized in home. I think we're okay there. Now for food. I'm going to do two different categories here, groceries and dining out. And while it's on my mind, I'm actually going to shift something over to entertainment. Feels like a little weird putting this in here, but in the summer we go to a lot of barbecues, and if we want to pick up something to drink, we tend to spend more on that in the summer. So I want to make sure that I'm including it in a budget category. Now, James and I are great about groceries. We don't tend to shop every week. We try to shop every few weeks. So I'm going to set a budget for the month of June of $135. That'll give us $270 for the month, which I think is doable. And then I'm going to match it for dining out, and we'll see how I do versus what I budgeted and what I actually spent. Next up is healthcare. So my health insurance is covered through my job. So I just have my dental insurance, which is so inexpensive, and that is $21.35. And then I'm going to just set a little like buffer here in case I need to pick up medicine or anything like that. And we're going to do a $40 buffer, something that's low, but I think will help prepare me for anything unexpected. Next up, we're not going to put anything in loans. I was going to put my car in loans, but that's a lease and that will be under transportation. So let's put my car over here, and that is $421. And then we're also going to put my car insurance, and that is $122. And then let's see if I'm missing any of these. I'm going to consider my phone to be personal, and that is $146. And alcohol, I'm going to do, I know at some of these I put dollar signs, some I did not. I'm going to set aside maybe $50 for the month for alcohol. And then, okay, when you see a credit card on here, those don't get their own categories. I don't consider them loans because they're paid off every month. They're not paying down debt. But sometimes if I go grocery shopping, I may use a credit card for that. Or if I buy something for the home, I may use an Amazon credit card for that. And that payment comes from these budget categories. I don't budget for my credit card. I budget for the categories that I'm using my credit card to spend from. So we also have my Peloton. I'm going to put that under personal, and we're going to do 44. Okay, loans we don't need, so I'm just going to cross that out so I don't feel like I left it blank. And then other is going to be anything else that I spend on throughout the month. So one of the things that I'm going to write here is fun. I like to budget for fun without necessarily knowing what that may be, but just kind of some fun adventures. I'm also going to write here Ant Fund, and these are things that I tend to spend money on when it comes to my niece and nephew or James's nieces, and I'm going to do $50 here because that will be split, anything that may come up. And then I'm also going to do birthdays. I have some birthdays of gifts that I want to buy, and we're going to do $100 for that because I think that there's only 2 that I need to buy for, so I feel good about that. All right, let's add up these numbers. So 1680, 98 plus 225 plus 150 plus 50 plus 35. Our total here is 2140, 98. Then we have 135 times 2 should be 270. Here we have 6135, 146 plus 44, 190. The phone bill is not split because it's my cell phone, so that's not something that we split. Then we have 421. Same with car and car insurance. We each have our own cars and car insurance, so we don't split that. Here we're at 50, and here we're at 250. Okay, now let's see what our totals are. So 2140.98 plus 270 plus 6135 plus 190 plus 543 plus 50 plus 250 is 3505.33. Now remember, I have some savings goals. So I've already decided that my emergency fund is going to come completely from my other paycheck, but I have a goal of an additional $1,200 in savings. So my actual total is 4705.33 if you include savings in that. I recommend considering savings a bill, because if you don't, you may never save, but when you include it as a bill that needs to be paid, then it's really going to help you. So we could actually even put that in over here. So I'm going to put retirement, and then I have that 700 in July vacation. So now I know that my goal for the month is to be able to stick with the number of 4705.33 and not go over. If you have totaled this number, whichever one it looks like for you, and you notice that it is higher than your income for the month, you have a couple of options. You can look at ways of increasing your income or look at ways to decrease your spending. Maybe look in some of these categories and see if there's ways that you can decrease it. If your income is higher than your total budgeted, see where you can make an impact, whether it's paying down loans, adding to retirement, or giving yourself a buffer for something in the future, even if you don't know what that is. Maybe you want to go on vacation one day. You don't know where you're going. You don't know who you're going with, but prepare for those types of things, because as they come up, in addition to like home maintenance, car maintenance, pet care, kid needs, all of that kind of stuff, you'll really be glad that you started saving. So hopefully you found this video helpful. You can pick up this budget planner and bill organizer over at cleverfoxplanner.com. If you're not yet subscribed to our channel, click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and give this video a big ol' thumbs up. We have so many more exciting videos to come. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.